After Bitcoin's latest drop only hours ago, I think it's more clear than ever what pattern Bitcoin is currently in and what our next target is. Let's jump on in. Welcome back, everyone. I am your host, Joey Jellybean, and boy, do we have a webisode for you here today. Bitcoin had a move just hours ago, and as I'm recording this, it looks as though this might follow through. But guys, more importantly, that move that Bitcoin did make earlier, in my opinion, it has never been more clear what Bitcoin's trajectory could be, and it actually lines up exactly with our video a few days ago. So this is getting really interesting. This is just getting down to the wire here. And as well, the breakout target actually has changed a little bit because of what this pattern, in my opinion, seems to be looking like at this moment, guys. Hey guys, did you know if you turn this button blue and leave a comment below, I will personally let you in on a little secret of what makes my family and I's jelly beans so delicious. And as well, guys, as always, all comments do enter you to win a ledger equivalent in BTC or access to T4. And guys, only days left. If you're interested in trading, make sure to sign up below with our link. Some huge deposit bonuses, some nice Christmas specials actually going on as well. Only days left. And there is a free tutorial below as well. Guys, we have a lot to be jumping into in this chart. Clearly, we see this weekly candle finally start to get some movement. However, it looks like some movement to the downside, guys. So for the last few days, we've been talking about this potential triangle, but what happened overnight was Bitcoin came down to an area that we've been talking about for about a week and a half now. And that's the most important thing. That very key level that we keep talking about is the deciding factor on why I think this pattern is more validated as not a symmetrical triangle. Basically, this $18,600 level is a level we've talked about not getting a single 4, 6, or 1 hour close below the entire time, yet consistently bouncing there. $18,600 US has been a key level, and over the last few hours, specifically what I mentioned in the intro and just overnight for me, we got yet another touch there, guys. So in my opinion, this pattern is in fact not a symmetrical triangle, but in fact much more valid in my opinion as a descending triangle. Now, some of you are probably opening up your ears and perking up a little bit at that news because you know what that means. However, we're going to get into some specifics with that. So clearly this has been descending in terms of the resistance, right? It has been descending. We've gotten lower highs over and over and over again. You can see that very clearly here. But we've basically gotten the same bounce at the same key level. Now, as you can see, this is a very downward slope. Now, if we try to do that same slope, technically we kind of could here, but it just makes so much more sense on this 1 hour chart to do it here because we see so many touches consistently coming down basically to this same level. Now, the one argument you could make is that technically these wicks are higher each time, right? We have a wick down to 18, and then we had a wick at about 18.5, and then the most recent wick only came to about 18.6, only $100 above this previous wick. But for the most part, we've gotten a lot of these significant closes along this key area, which is exactly about 18,600, 18,650 for the most part. Okay, we keep coming down to visit that area. And clearly, a descending triangle is typically a more bearish pattern. Now, what I mentioned in the intro as well is exactly what I personally think would be the best case scenario for the mid to long term, meaning I personally have been rooting for this to happen for quite a while. Maybe it's not popular. I'm not sure what everyone else's opinions are, but I personally want to see a pullback first. I know a lot of people want to see 20K. They want to see Bitcoin start a 5-digit number with a 2 instead of a 1, right? For the first time in actually ever, because I don't think Bitcoin actually technically ever went above 20,000 on all exchanges. I think it topped out around 19.9 on most or 19.8 on most, but we might have to wait a little longer, and personally I think it would just be healthier. And obviously one of the main reasons for that, guys, looking on this weekly chart, this is insanely vertical. I personally would like to see more of a pullback first. I don't like getting too overextended. I want to see this run sustained and sustainable over the next year. So naturally, I think it's good to root for pullbacks at certain points. And specifically, I think this is a great point to be rooting for a pullback. And as well, the breakdown target of this is actually right above 17,000 US dollars, give or take $100 or $200. But that's right in line with the target we were talking about back a few days ago in our video talking about the comparison between the June 3rd, 2019 drop and the potential for this double top here like we saw back then. Okay, guys, and a huge new development as well is that we've come back down to this 21-day moving average again. this blue line, 21-day moving average. Now, we came down to it back at the end of November, and we said if we come back down to it again, it makes it much more likely that we're actually going to get a follow through and maybe come down to that $17,000 mark, right? That's what we've been saying for the past few weeks. If we get another touch, right? Not one touch, this counts as our first touch here. And that's what I've been saying for a while, but this would count as our second, right? And one of the reasons for that is because every single time for the last year, beginning on January 7th, after we've gotten these bullish crosses with the 21 going above the 50-day moving average, we have nice pumps like we've had every single time. But every time we come down and get multiple touches on the 21-day moving average, ultimately that ends up flipping the trend. And that's kind of the earliest indicator from what I've seen that we actually kind of reverse, and then we end up getting a bearish cross. They haven't been too significant, meaning we get these bearish crosses, it consolidates a little bit, but then ultimately Bitcoin explodes higher, which is exactly what I'm eyeing up for this scenario. Basically, I would love to get a pullback. I would love to get a retracement, 17,000, but maybe at the lowest 15.5. Obviously, the very lowest is the 21-week moving average, a little over 13,000. However, like I said, I think Bitcoin's a little too bullish right now to go down to 13, right? If it did go down to 13,000, I think that would get bought up insanely quickly. But I'm looking at 17 and then potentially 15.5 as the pullback areas if we actually get a follow through here, like we've gotten 3 other times this year, right? So that's just another reason why I believe that's the case. And guys, remember, we talked about this actually about 5 or so days ago with the EMA ribbon and this 50-day moving average crossing here, with the EMA ribbon actually slipping below the 50-day, which was an indication all 3 other times after we got these crosses throughout the year as well, that was kind of the beginning more of a downturn. And now we've seen that. So guys, in my opinion, technically the trend is up, right? And you don't usually want to bet against the trend. Again, no financial advice. I'm just giving you my opinion on what I think's happening. It looks to me like over the next week, maybe 2 weeks max, it is likely, in my opinion, that we will get a more significant, an actual sustained pullback. But the good news is it'll be much more similar to previous pullbacks where we kind of immediately turn around, guys. Let's be honest, Bitcoin is extremely bullish right now. Fundamentally, I believe Michael Saylor just announced less than 24 hours ago that he wants to buy another huge sum of Bitcoin, right? And the scarcity is already at all-time high levels, meaning there's already like a shortage of Bitcoin. And again, this trend is going to continue, in my opinion. There's going to continue to be less and less Bitcoin and more demand. Obviously, that is what increases Bitcoin's, or what do they call it, hyper-Bitcoinization, basically where kind of like a singularity. Hyper-Bitcoinization is kind of like what the singularity is to technology for Bitcoin. So basically, singularity is when everything starts heating up, right? Technology just gets better and better and better, and at a certain point, it just starts almost like creating itself, and it just peaks, right? It explodes, and that's kind of what hyper-Bitcoinization is as well, from what I understand. So again, this is all just part of the process. I think obviously Bitcoin is extremely bullish, but guys, just my opinion, what I want to see, and what I think is most likely. And I'm just going out on a limb saying that. I personally think it makes more sense if we do get a pullback to at least the $17,100, $17,200 range over the next week or so. I think that's healthiest. I think it makes the most sense at this point. It's something I've been hesitating, fully committing to saying, even though I have kind of been saying it anyway. But yeah, I just personally think that makes the most sense. But I would not be surprised, guys. Let's say, a day from now, we just get some random pump. We're above 20K. If that did happen, I think that we would soon be met with a pullback in that scenario also. So either way, I personally am just looking for that pullback over the next 1 to 2 weeks. Wow! Also, let me know what you guys think in the comments as well. Make sure to leave your comment and subscribe if you want to enter for those ledgers. All comments do enter you for that. And guys, anybody interested in trading, make sure to take advantage of this limited time bonus up to $610 when you deposit. All instructions are in the comments and description below. And as well, there is a free tutorial as well.